Hello, Patriots. I've got a message for the awakened that want to learn the process. And you'll know a little more about what I mean by learn the process here in just a little bit. This little video here is gonna be a little lengthy, but you want to hang on till the end for sure. It's definitely can be for the unawakened, but it's pretty much the awakened that are going to know what to do with this. I just got myself an autographed General Michael Flynn Our Country, Our Choice hat. I was at his movie premiere in Texas just a few weeks ago. My name is Jeffrey Stagg, Master Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, retired. And while we're here doing an introduction, I'm going to introduce you to Ruckus and Beckham. Ruckus is 5, Beckham is 15. And as you can see here, Ruckus is a patriot. I'm sure he is just as much of a patriot as the rest of you listening to this. I deployed 3 times to the Iraq theater, 03 to 06, for this. It was total bullshit deployments that were serving nothing but Khazarian global banking, deep state, Luciferian cabal. That's what all our wars have ever been. I'll do a little something else on that at another time, but right now we're on the offense. I've got well over 5,000 hours of research over the last 3.5 years into all the facets of our Great Awakening, and most of you know what that is. You're probably in a similar boat. But the message I've got is to help the awakened learn a process that I'm now involved with. And I have been divinely reconnected with a childhood friend of mine that has been engaged in a lawfare war with the deep state cabal for over 4 years now. He's been put in jail by them trying to defend himself, and has been stripped of many, many different due process related crimes and unlawfulness. And I'm fortunate enough to be on Aldo's journey with his fight, which the reason why I'm doing this is because this process that we're in the middle of right now has the potential to get the rest of humanity in our country out of this unlawful judicial corruption that is enslaving us. And we're on a path to end it all. This message is for those that want to just learn this process of what I'm referring to right now, and engage in, give you information. I'm here to give you information. I've got about 10 court filings that I'm going to share, and I'm going to be doing some reading. I'm going to guess this may take about 15 minutes or more. But it's information that is happening right now, real time. And it appears if you look at what's going on in our world around us, we're on a collision course. to rid ourselves of a lot of evil and corruption. So by learning what I'm about to show, it's going to really help you with, not just learn the process, but engage in changing our reality into what God had originally intended for us, and our original 1776 representative republic of the United States of America. We've not been the representative republic that we thought we've been our entire lives. We have been a corporation for the last 150 years. So I'm not going to be getting a whole lot into that, but just understand that fact. If you were just to look up and understand and research the 1871 Act of England, you're going to understand how global Khazarian bankers through the UK have bastardized our Constitution and have, through lawfare, creating the Bar Association with a team of people sent over here from the King of England in 1850, and setting up in the late 1800s the Illinois Corporation, known as the British Accredited Registry. British. Why are our lawyers part of a union from Britain? Why? There is an American Bar Association, but the Bar Association is a big problem, and part of the deception that we've been living in. And again, I don't know, we can go into this another time, but we have been a corporation, not a representative republic, since 1871. And debt slavery was initiated in that time frame in our history. What I'm gonna do is I have documents here, and as I go through them, I'm gonna hold them up to the screen, and just for a few seconds, so that they can be screenshot. That way you can have a good record. There's court filing numbers that some of you that want to dive deeper and do research may want to look up. So I'm just going to put the filings with the numbers up, instead of reading them all and expecting you to remember them or write them down. You can just screenshot anything I put up for a couple of seconds. First thing I'm going to put up is 4 websites that have filings and have links, and the documents that I'm about to show you posted on these sites. They're all linked together, so you can screenshot these right here. courtofpublicawakening.org, aldoforsheriff.org, courtcomplaints.info, and flashjury.org. This is a judicial court type information I'm giving out right now. And we're in the Virginia area. Virginia Beach, Virginia is where a lot of these filings have been done, and they have moved to the Virginia Supreme Court, and they have moved. They are also all tied together and related to the Fourth Circuit Court of the federal judicial system. So federal, state, and local in Virginia Beach. Briefly, ALDO DiBelardino. He is he's a father of 5. He was a 4-year varsity wrestler, Cox High School in Virginia Beach. He's a graduate of UVA, Harvard Business School. Has a claim to fame of winning the largest civil patent infringement case in Virginia history. Aldo has been involved in just a family law case, a very similar case that many people have probably been involved with themselves in different ways. But it's as he was going through his family law cases, he had experienced basically the corruption of the system through his own attorneys, opposing attorneys, judges, rulings that just consistently began denying Aldo of due process and not accepting and understanding the deception that has been and has infested our court systems across our land for so long. Aldo has amassed a large group of whistleblowers, of people that have court complaints, that have affidavits and evidence of wrongdoings by officers of the court. And for the last 5 years, in the past 5 years, an average of 4,000 of those complaints have been swept under the rug and not investigated when an investigation of we the people has been asked for. So along that line of corruption and denying the people of due process guaranteed in the Fifth Amendment, Aldo has filed a petition. It's an open petition, and it is posted at the courtofpublicawakening.org and connected in those 4 sites I gave you. And this filing, I'm basically starting at this filing that Aldo had done just this year. It basically, I'm kind of starting in the middle. He has amassed many other filings and trying to get opportunities to present evidence, and the courts are denying him a chance to bring about discovery to prove the wrongdoings that have been done to him, including them putting him in jail because he was trying to defend himself pro se. Was forced to defend himself pro se because he found the collusion and proof of it with his own attorneys with the system. So this is the open petition. It is law number CL 24-1585, filed March 27th of 2024. You can screenshot that. As I go through these documents, I'm obviously not going to read all of them word for word, but I'm just going to pull out some important sections of them to give you an idea of the chronology of what has happened this year so far and where we are right now. Briefly, I can tell you that we have a case before the Virginia Supreme Court. There's a filing right now that has been done in the 4th Circuit Federal Court in Richmond also, and a filing in the city of Virginia Beach again, another one. And so they have the court system has no option at this point to offer what we're asking for, which is a grand jury to investigate, because we're at the point right now that any other type of delay is prima facie evidence that you're engaging in a corruption activity. And trust me, folks, when it comes to RICO activity and you cause the cover-up, the cover-up is worse than almost every crime. And those are very severe, and some are treasonous. So this petition was filed on March 27th, and basically the cover of it says, in accordance with Virginia Code 19.2206, this open petition is a formal request by we the people, a growing group of protected, interested parties, including but not limited to 12 plus Virginia citizen voters, to investigate and report on conditions that involve or tend to promote criminal activities in our communities in reality. That kind of gives you where we're headed. Tie that into my brief description. We're just seeking justice, and we want an opportunity to have evidence shown, and our system is denying us the opportunity to bring about discovery and have a discussion. And I mentioned a little bit about the Bar Association. The system has not treated a jury by our peers historically as it's written in the Constitution, and we are asking for a grand jury, a jury of peers, to investigate, and they have to stop trying to stonewall the we're at the point right now, it's not even a request. We're politely telling them we're ready for our grand juries now. So we have these cases. This open petition is the nucleus of the other petitions. We have these petitions filed at different levels, federal, state, and local, and they all work off of each other. Now, basically, what ALDO is asking for is issuing an order to disqualify the judges of the Virginia Beach Circuit Court because they're complicit in alleged criminal activity that we would like for a grand jury to investigate. Just give us an investigation. They need to be disqualified. They have to formally disqualify themselves in order for our investigation, or the jury's investigation, to go forward. So shortly after, April 3rd of this year, the disqualification order was met, and that was the first item that ALDO had requested of the court. And so they are officially disqualified from hearing the case, as there's subject matter inside of it. The next of three there, when you file a petition, you've got to always have your requested action. What are you asking the court to do? And so that was the first one, disqualifying the judges. The next one was asking the Virginia Beach Circuit Court to forward this case to the Virginia Supreme Court and have them hear it, since the local court cannot, it would be a conflict of interest for them to do it. And that order was done. ALDO asked for that, and he got it. This is it right here. The request for the Supreme Court to hear the case. A retired Supreme Court judge in Richmond was asked to facilitate the case. And so this memorandum, let's see. should have told you who the parties were in this, but I'll do it this way. Yeah. So, the Honorable Margaret Poles Spencer is a retired judge, and she'll be hearing the case. We have the case scheduled for July 25th, 2024 in downtown Richmond. July 25th, yeah. And the request for having that judge take up the case was, let's see, well, it was copied to the Honorable James C. Lewis, the Chief Judge, Tina Sinnen, Clerk of Court in Virginia Beach, and their paralegal. So the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia, Judge Goodwin, has received Aldo's request in the case of We the People and ALDO DiBelardino. ALDO DiBelardino is doing this for We the People, so both are named in this case, versus the Honorable Judges of the Virginia Beach Circuit Court, who unlawfully jailed him, and there's a lot of other unlawful acts that are stated in the petition. So the first two items that he asked for in the open petition were granted, and then the third item was a motion to impanel a special grand jury to investigate and report on any condition that involves or tends to promote criminal activity not limited to the aforementioned concerns, ensuring that all complaints against court officers become public record, so that we the people watch the watchmen. I'll just read. This is part of the things that are kind of gone wrong that stemmed why this petition was written. Details of systemic problems have been witnessed by flashjury.org. See that badge behind me? Anybody, we the people, any of you can create one of these badges. Grab yourself a pen and a notebook and go sit in any courtroom with that badge on. Watch the judges sit up straight and the attorneys. They see that they're being watched with people with notebooks. There's nothing unconstitutional about that. You can create your own go to flashjury.org, create your own badges, and give them hell in the courtroom just by being there and taking notes. And if you see how any wrongdoing that you believe is wrongdoing that can be confirmed, you can just write it up into an affidavit, and you can send it into that fourth website that I had posted up there earlier called Court Complaints. There's a third one. Courtcomplaints.info is a new site that is taking grievances of mishandlings of justice by court officers and judges. That's the power that we the people have. They're afraid of that. They don't want that, but we can do it. We're powerful enough to watch them in their system, because what they forget to understand is the fact that until I commit a crime, until you commit a crime, we are sovereign over them. We're sovereign over every single person working in the court systems. They work for us. We say that all the time, but it's the truth. We are sovereign over them. You can strut very confidently into any courtroom and watch them. If you got nothing going on, you can get a notebook and put that badge on and watch them straighten up and not be so arrogant. Anyway, Details of systemic problems have been witnessed by flashjury.org. Attendees who are willing to testify to just authorities, including a special grand jury. Related filings that detail and document incontrovertible bad behaviors include, but are not limited to, a federal complaint in Norfolk, Virginia, which is pending. Supreme Court of Virginia Record 230-337 pending. Virginia Beach Circuit Court complaints. There's 4 of them here pending, falsely dismissed and not suited. A whistleblower who wishes to remain protected due to fear of our system has exposed troubling practices within the Virginia State Bar. Denying public record access, destroying complaints, and politicizing decisions. These actions are prima facie evidence of serious fraud upon the public by our judiciary, akin to an act of treason. In 2023, the Virginia Beach Circuit Court jailed a whistleblower to prevent anarchy, even after acknowledging the order to jail was based upon a false pretense. It's public record that they falsely jailed somebody that was trying to defend them and protect themselves. Lack of accountability enables our court to enforce orders known to be false, employing lawfare, and to rule tyrannically. So, anyway, that's the petition. You can go to Court of Public Awakening and read this anchor. This is an anchor petition. And I just gave you the documents that state that the judges were disqualified, and they are putting it before the Virginia Supreme Court, July 25th. That's the open petition. So, on April 19th, a week or two later, the Assistant Attorney General of Virginia, Cooper Vaughn, sent a cover letter with, on behalf of Jason Miyares, the Attorney General of Virginia, came back with a 10-point demur to the petition, opposition, reasons why they think that Aldo's case to notify that we want to investigate corruption, that they put together 10 reasons why they think it should be thrown out. I can't read them all. I'll read just a couple, but they essentially are saying basically that Aldo's not a bar attorney, so you can't defend yourself, in so many words, and you can't represent we the people. Well, it says right here, ALDO DiBelardino, point number 1, ALDO DiBelardino purports to bring this action on behalf of we the people, a group of unclear legal status. We the people are a group of unclear legal status? Are you kidding me? They're saying that we can't one of us can't represent us as a group. In an effort just to get a grand jury to hear evidence. We were just speaking up that, hey, we want to investigate what's going on. So, and saying that Aldo's not a licensed attorney in Virginia, which basically, being a bar attorney, when you look into the details of how it was created and how it works, it's just a union. You got to pay union dues. It's really all it really matters to. If you want to attach yourself to the Royal British Crown, then that's enjoy yourself. So in response to that, well, that was 2 reasons why they wanted to throw it out. They came up with a bunch more. They basically said that they cited some Virginia code that says impaneling a grand jury has a lot of special steps. that weren't met. And when you bounce that against the United States Constitution and our rights to a grand jury, that's a big conflict, and our U.S. Constitution is going to override code every day of the week. So a lot of reasons for it. Now, so 10 reasons were filed why it should be thrown out. It has not been thrown out. This is what is going, their 10 points of trying. Here's a document. Actually, if you want, I'm going to open this up and you can screenshot the inside pages so you can read, because this may be hard to find online. You can read their 10 reasons why they believe this case of Aldo wanting to defend himself and bring corruption to a grand jury to investigate, why they want it thrown out. And there's page 1. I think it's 3 pages. You can, yep, it's just 2 pages. Here's, and you can screenshot this. This is the rest of them through number 10. You can screenshot that. You're going to want to screenshot it because there were 10 points, there were responses to this that are out of this world. Now, the NLA, the National Liberty Association, or Alliance, National Liberty Alliance. You can get their information at nationallibertyalliance.org. As a matter of fact, a lot of you may have seen this book before. Common Law Handbook for Jurors, Sheriffs, Bailiffs, and Justices. Very widely circulated common law book, which basically is the opposite of maritime law that we've been under, which is something else you need to research along with the 1871 Act of England and understand what maritime law is versus constitutional common law, which needs to be brought back. This book was written by John Darash. He's the founder of, from best I understand, nationallibertyalliance.org. And John Darash has become a great confidant with ALDO DiBelardino, who has filed all these cases so far on his own. And John and Aldo are now collaborating together. And John wrote a magnificent brief of amicus curiae, the response to the state's demur to try to throw Aldo's cases out. This got the case number on it. This should also be tied to and posted at courtofpublicawakening.org. Here's the cover page with the case number on it. And in it, John Darash just completely annihilates the deep state cabal. In response to Aldo, when they said that Aldo cannot defend himself because he's not a bar attorney and he can't represent we the people, John came back and he began with a very well written explanation of what the American Bar Association really and truly is, and puts to bed Aldo not being able to defend himself for not being an attorney. Of course people can defend themselves. Give me a break. This is interesting. I think you'll find it interesting. The American Bar Association, founded August 21st, 1878, is a voluntary association of lawyers and was incorporated in 1909 in the state of Illinois. The state does not accredit the law schools or hold examinations and has no control or jurisdiction over the ABA, American Bar Association, or its members. The ABA accredits all the law schools. I may have said British Bar, but the American Bar Association. The ABA accredits all the law schools, holds their private examinations, selects the students they will accept in their organization, and issues them so-called license for a fee, but does not and cannot issue state licenses to lawyers. So the state of Virginia said that ALDO is not a state licensed attorney, but the American Bar Association cannot issue state licenses. The bar is the only one that can punish or disbar a lawyer, and not the state. That's a big statement. Wait till everyone really understands what that means. So you have corrupt, illegal, unlawful activity by a bar attorney. And did you know that the bar is the only ones that can punish them? Did you know that the state cannot disbar an attorney? The state of Virginia cannot disbar these people if we find that they did unlawful acts. The Bar Association has to be the ones to do the discipline. We can't do it. The state cannot disbar a lawyer. The American Bar Association also selects lawyers that they consider qualified for judgeships and various other offices of the state. All right, so what he's going into here is watering down the actual relevance of needing to be an attorney in order to defend yourself and move on with due process that the Fifth Amendment affords all of the people. Then, at the end there, in the demur response, in the response that the state had against why Aldo's case should be thrown out, they basically were saying that, right here, that the process of selecting a grand jury, they were coming up with strangely parsed reasons of why we the people cannot impanel our own grand jury. It's just the number one thing. Our forefathers have wisely crafted wording to be sure that we have and can use juries. Matter of fact, they used committees of safety years ago before the deep state cabal associated to the Bar Association and the 1871 Act of England Corporation. They started to water down and disappear and eliminate committees of safety, which every county should have, and they're coming back now. Committees of safety are coming back. Research committees of safety and common law. Well, in the state trying to have an argument stating that Aldo and we the people cannot impanel our own grand jury to do these investigations of the swamp, trying to be the fox defending the henhouse, here's the response that John had for us not being able to impanel juries. He states that the petitioner, that Aldo, for we the people, requests that the judiciary act to police their own. That's all we want them to do, is to police themselves correctly. If you do something wrong, call each other out on it. No one's calling each other out on their wrongdoings. So we're kind of giving them an out in this statement right here. But then it ends in not such a out. It ends with how this is going to end. He says again, the petitioner requests that the judiciary act to police their own. Of course, we want you to police your own. The judiciary act to police their own, correct their errors, and restore the injured. Police yourselves, hold yourselves accountable, fix all the things that you've done in the past that were wrong, and restore in the injured parties of the injuries that you've created to all these people. We're asking you to do all that because he ends the sentence with, or we will do it for you. I'm going to read that again. Petitioner requests that the judiciary act to police their own, correct their errors, and restore the injured, or we will do it for you. We're not asking the Supreme Court of Virginia. We're not asking. We're giving you a polite tell that we're bringing our grand juries and we're going to investigate all this corruption. Yes, we are. We are. You guess what? Guess what? You can jump on board with us and open the doors to the courtrooms. Or if you don't, it's additional prima facie evidence of federal obstruction of due process, which is a RICO charge, which ties to treason. You get it? You get it? That's how this game's being played. We will do it for you. We're going to bring grand juries. It's coming. You just have to jump on board and try to save your neck. That's all you got to do. So, John wrote this well-crafted answer to their reason to try to get Aldo's open petition sent out. I'm trying to put this all in layman terms. And it should do well in front of any reasonable, sensible judge. This is also tied to the petition sent to the federal Fourth Circuit Court. It's all tied together. Aldo also wrote up his own, since he was the petitioner, he wrote an amendment to the attachment that John Darash wrote of the 10 response points to the demurrer from the state. And there's an addendum that Aldo wrote up. This is it right here. You can screenshot that. Memorandum in opposition to the demurrer, souls are not slaves. And everyone needs to have that mentality that all of our souls are not enslaved. We have rights, and your games can't stop due process. When wrongdoing has been done, we have the right to bring discovery and find it out. So, of all the, Aldo has an answer to all the 10 points too. I'll just read the last one of Aldo's response to number 10, which is basically the state of Virginia telling everybody that impaneling a grand jury is you're doing it the wrong way. Trying to tell us we can't get a group of people and just start investigating. Aldo says that Virginia Code does not specifically prohibit petitioner from impaneling a grand jury, special or otherwise. There are regular grand juries, special grand juries. In fact, our constitutions, federal and state of Virginia constitutions, ensure petitioners' rights to a grand jury. The constitutions, both constitutions, ensure our rights to have one. You can't make up all these reasons to deny a grand jury to investigate wrongdoing of the people that are not, obviously not, policing themselves, and they're not acting in a timely manner when we have lots and lots and lots of cases and evidence ready to prove what they're saying otherwise. How are souls enslaved and oppressed by the tyranny of our courts and systems to prompt our court to investigate itself so that all our souls may be free? Our court should not act as the Praetorian Guard for deception in our reality. Aldo kind of offers a little olive branch here in this last statement, and the rule of law path forward is to overrule the state's 10-point demur and to facilitate the grand jury that we're requesting. We're asking you to facilitate it, not grant it, because that's us. See, we can impanel our own grand jury. We know this. Well, we're all learning that we can do this. See, you've kept it from us all these years. You've been trying to water down and hide the fact that we can impanel our own people to investigate you, and we're doing it. The rule of law path forward is to overrule the demur and facilitate the requested grand jury. We need this grand jury, and the court really has no choice to grant to dismiss the state's attempt to shut down Aldo's open petition, because it would be a blatant act of hindering and stopping due process afforded to all of us by the Fifth Amendment. Let us investigate. Just let us investigate. So those responses are sitting at the Virginia. Right now we have a date. Since the responses to the demur and so forth were put together, July 25th in Richmond. Please go to these websites and let as many people know about what this case is about on the 25th of July of this year, 2024. And we're trying to gather as much support as possible so that the Honorable Judge Spencer will see and understand there's a lot of support behind we the people wanting a grand jury to start investigating all this wrongdoing. We have a lot of evidence. We've got a lot of people are writing statements and affidavits, and we have a site called courtcomplaints.info where they are beginning now to get recorded. There are some other sites out there that already have complaints recorded outside of the courtroom. See, that's why we created courtcomplaints.info, is because the states aren't doing it. The judicial systems are not timely doing it. We have proof of that. Just recently happened with Aldo's case with the court clerk of Virginia Beach. Took a long time without a really good reason for posting his filings online for the public to see. So we're just doing it ourselves. Here again, here's those sites. This is where you go, folks, to get justice served. And what I'm doing here again is I'm explaining one person's fight against the system, and he's not even an attorney, but he's been able to write up a lot of petitions in defense. Has had some help over the years, and if anything, if you follow along what's happening with this case, you can learn for yourself what you can do in your own state and your own locality. This Aldo's a hero with a big sword right now, and he's leaving the judicial system with no choice but to comply and let us investigate, or delay and show prima facie evidence in the federal court level of the U.S. when the U.S. Constitution is being violated by due process by eliminating, not necessarily eliminating, in some cases eliminating, but delaying, even delaying due process afforded us by the Fifth Amendment. If you can show that in any of your local or state cases, you can take your case directly to the federal level if due process is being denied by a state judiciary. Again, I showed you the book that John Darash wrote explaining how common law and constitutional law was intended and how it works, and how it's been usurped. He even has a lot of stuff in this book about the 1871 Act of England and how our representative republic was removed and replaced by a corporation. The corporation of the United States. They bastardized our Constitution, kind of rewrote it a little, and established all of our states to be set up as sub-corporations of a larger corporation, with the president being the CEO, and all these cabinet members are basically corporation officers of a company. Just go research that, because that's the truth. Now, not done yet. Just about a week or so ago, by the way, today is June 6th, 2024. 66624. 2 plus 4 is 6. Here is the case that Aldo brought to the federal level, the Fourth Circuit Court, who by the way, the Fourth Circuit Court system of West Virginia, that area, I think it's Maryland, maybe North Carolina, the Mid-Atlantic region, is overseen by Justice John Roberts. I'm going to show this to you, screenshot this one. This was just filed about less than a week ago. And this one is ALDO DiBelardino, whistleblower, versus Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. And the reason why the Attorney General of Virginia is named in this federal case is because he was made aware of all of these RICO allegations. No one is bringing up the fact that we need to put these charges in front of a grand jury, so no one's allowing that to this date. He's aware of it, and nothing is being done. So he's being named. He's being named in a federal RICO case for inactivity after he's been served. And on here also are about 10 other court officers. I do not know the difference between all of them, whether they are attorneys, judges, or what have you. So this was sent to the Fourth Circuit Court. Truth belongs to our Creator. This is something Aldo wrote. Truth belongs to our Creator, not to the created. Souls are given free will to choose how we relate to truth, a binary choice in the eyes of eternity. Our courts are shepherds in this eternal narrative, accountable to a higher standard based on consent. There is no middle ground or fence to sit on. The deceiver owns that deception and exacts his rent in the form of souls. There is a lot. This federal petition that the Attorney General of Virginia was named in has a lot of the same basis of the open petition that I read off of some of it earlier, that is posted at courtofpublicawakening.org. I'm not going to read through a lot of it. Is like I said, same wording in the other filing that was originally sent to the Virginia Supreme Court. But I tell you, he references an appendix or an attachment A, that basically are his arguments. I'll read those arguments. These are the arguments that are sitting before, that have been filed with the federal court, Fourth Circuit. Yeah. Number 1 of 4, please don't lock our court doors. I don't think I really need to explain what that means, but that's essentially what's happening when a city level court starts dismissing and throwing cases out without being heard. Sounds like 2020 election court cases that we were trying to... Oh, never mind. Please don't lock our court doors. There were quite a few cases that were cited here. I'm not going to read all these cases here that were cited, but it also talks a lot about, Aldo's mentioning about in cases where the plaintiff appears pro se. Pro se means that you are defending yourself without an attorney. Further, in cases where the plaintiff appears pro se, courts do not expect the pro se plaintiff to frame legal issues with the clarity and precision expected from lawyers. So, and that was a Suggs versus M&T Bank case, 2017. Basically, you know, laying out the fact that you can come to defend yourself and you don't have to have the silver forked tongue of an attorney in the courtroom. And we expect you not to. So basically saying, you know, there is a road paved for you to be able to defend yourself, and they're still trying to tell Aldo he can't defend himself. This is all bullshit. So, please don't lock the court doors was his attachment 1 on the federal reasons as to why we have this case. Applying that standard, again, about you know, defending yourself pro se without an attorney, applying that standard to the instant case, it is absolutely imperative that the case remain active so that discovery can be performed to determine the facts at issue, i.e., whether the plaintiff was deprived of his 14th Amendment rights and where due process, life, liberty, and property, and whether the actions of the defendants rise to a level of activity that would be deemed outrageous by the court. All right. As the court is aware, and we're still on number 1, the argument of why this is going to federal court. As the court is aware, this case is extremely important to the parties and, in fact, to society, as the case seeks to uncover improprieties at the highest level in our judicial trial system. To deny plaintiffs the right to uncover the facts of this case, which only can be done through discovery, is effectively actively denying the plaintiff due process rights under both the Virginia and federal Constitution, is tantamount to locking the doors of our court system. Denying all those the due process is the same as locking the doors to the court system and keeping the public out and forever in the dark as to how justice is meted out in the United States. Number 2, stop gaslighting the record. The amended complaint alleges all elements of conspiracy. Plaintiff's request to further amend the complaint after being wrongfully jailed was ignored. Discovery was not allowed or facilitated by our court. So as Aldo was working along in his family law case, he found a lot of corruption going on and was trying to expose it. He started getting closer and closer to getting put in jail. He was wrongfully jailed, and discovery was not allowed. Because he was trying to amend his case at the time they were putting him in jail, and they wouldn't let him do it, which is a legal action that the bar attorneys do themselves. Number 3, judicial defendants are not entitled to immunity due to the alleged conspiracy by the plaintiff in the amended complaint, which must be considered true. The plaintiff's request for hearings and further amendments were ignored, and discovery was not allowed, all while the plaintiff was jailed in violation of his 14th Amendment rights. And the last one, that speaks for itself. They're not immune. They don't have immunity for us bringing charges up against them just because they're court officers. And number 4, judicial defendants and Attorney General Mayeres are not protected by the 11th Amendment immunity. So if wrongdoing was done, if delay was done in causing impropriety and causing a stoppage of due process, and you know about it, you're complicit. And lastly, to the federal case, pro se plaintiff Aldo defending himself, not as an attorney and without an attorney. Pro se plaintiff reserves the right to amend and must be given grace by this court as a disadvantaged soul in our monopoly bar mafia judicial system. That was sent to the federal judges just last week. So now we have a Virginia Supreme Court case, Fourth Circuit federal case, and now for this one. This is just filed. What I haven't brought up yet, too, was the fact that, and talked much about yet, is Aldo has just received enough signatures and is officially on the ballot in Virginia Beach to run for sheriff. Aldo is running for sheriff in the city of Virginia Beach, and has discovered the fact that the current sheriff is not, I'll just say alleged, because we have to still bring this before court investigation, but was not lawfully elected. Sheriffs are supposed to be elected. He was appointed, and certain time frames expired throughout the process. So he was sworn in by Judge Lewis as sheriff, but he was not elected by the people. And the manner in which doing so, they may say they have ways of getting around it, but even those rules they created weren't followed. So we have a petition here. This was just filed 2 days ago. You can screenshot this one. Got the case number on it. Oh, I can't see, glare. There we go. It's got the case number on it. This is We the People, Aldo DiBelardino, plus 12 John and Jane Does. There's a requirement for a minimum of 5 or more for bringing up a consensus for a jury. We the People, Aldo DiBelardino, plus 12 John and Jane Does versus the respondents, unlawful Sheriff Rocky Holcomb, Chief Judge James Lewis, Judge Randall Smith, Commonwealth Attorney Colin Stoley, whose family member was the previous sheriff who left office, and then they installed Rocky Holcomb as sheriff. Emergency expedited open petition to stop bar mafia actions. Issue a writ of mandamus or impanel a special grand jury. Welcome to the Court of Public Awakening. And this was filed, like I said, 2 days ago. And it basically highlights the fact that this needs to be investigated. How did this sheriff here in Virginia Beach actually get into his position right now, around a time frame that they were putting Aldo in jail? Not saying that they're directly related, but I'm just saying that there's more than one instance of impropriety going on. All right. Now, I'm going to do some reading on this last document here. This is filed in the Circuit Court of the City of Virginia Beach. So we got federal that we just did last week, and there's a case before the Virginia Supreme Court on July 25th with the open petition for misconduct. And this petition here is just filed in the City of Virginia Beach. Last week's Trump verdict showed the world how corrupt America's justice system has become. Am I wrong? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I've got some details. Here comes some details for you guys about this whole situation, and this should kind of tie a lot of stuff together. The Virginia Beach Sheriff's Office, hereby hereinafter VBSO, was informed of court and public fraud through letters dated March 28th and November 6th of 2023. Petitioner ALDO DiBelardino was unlawfully jailed from October 25th to 28th, 2023 under a known false order for opposing court deception. During his detention, he was mistreated and his personal safety was jeopardized. The sheriff's office investigated but withheld the findings. The sheriff's office is notorious for mismanagement and corrupt leadership, with many grievances emerging. This situation is further evidence of RICO activity and undermines honorable deputies who cannot protest systemic corruption for fear of job loss. Constitutionally elected sheriffs are the chief law enforcement officer. Their duty includes being watchmen of Lady Justice and accountable to the people and protectors of the people against a rogue government. The reader is reminded of the supremacy clause in our Constitution. Virginia Beach Deputy Rocky Holcomb was unlawfully, I'm reading public documents. I'm not reading an opinion, I'm reading public documents. And I'll tell you guys right now, I'm feeling great. I have absolutely no thoughts of suicide. I'm just trying to help we the people, and I am trying to manifest the reality that God promised us, that we have. It's right before us. We just have to get rid of this dirty laundry. Virginia Beach Deputy Rocky Holcomb was unlawfully sworn in by Virginia Beach Circuit Court Chief Judge James Lewis on September 29th of 2023. This is a public document. I'm not personally giving an opinion. Violating both the Constitutions and Virginia Codes 24.2-223.1 and 682. Holcomb, accountable to the corrupt status quo uniparty in Virginia Beach, must resign immediately or suffer the consequences of violating the public official surety bond with personal indemnity for actions including but not limited to RICO activity. Notably, Chief Justice James Lewis further abuses his authority by obstructing the public's constitutional right to address grievances, as demonstrated by his demurrer submission on April 19th, 2024, for the open petition to restore accountability, CL 24-1585. Virginia Code 24.2-682, Virginia Code mandates the prompt election of a sheriff to fill any vacancy. Additionally, Virginia Code 24.2-228-.1 requires the Virginia Beach City Council to petition the Circuit Court within 15 days to issue a writ of election The courts must then promptly issue the writ ordering the election either upon receipt of the petition or on its own motion. The vacancy filled by Holcomb in 2023 occurred more than 12 months preceding the end of Sheriff Stoley's term in 2025. Thus, unlawful appointment and election denial, unlawful appointment and election denial and delay constitute prima facie evidence of bar mafia action, violating our constitutions, state and federal. On October 25th, 2023, Judge Randall Smith jailed a pro se court corruption whistleblower with an order known to be based on false pretense and fraud upon our court to avoid, quote, chaos in society, unquote. And it's in a transcript, hearing transcript 93:16. This is further prima facie evidence of coordinated systemic bar mafia RICO action, nullifying any claims of immunity or consent. This matter was reported to the United States District Court, Eastern District of Virginia, Norfolk Civil Division as part of case number 223 EV 225, appeal number 24-1269. Please note, Tina Sinan, the Virginia Beach Circuit Court elected clerk, is on record for obstructing the administration of justice by not publicly filing important documents for the related open petition to restore accountability for 2 weeks until she was called out on May 29th of 2024. This is more prima facie evidence of bar mafia RICO action. This open petition presents many conflicts, including but not limited to our court investigating itself or supervising the said process. Legislators are aware of problems, yet they fail to take effective action. Governor is aware of problems, yet fails to take effective action. Our code is distorted by decades of systemic problems, thus normalizing bad behaviors. Unequal access in Virginia, only bar members have online, listen to this, unequal access. In Virginia, only the bar members have online access to case documents and can bring smartphones and computers into the court, ensuring that the bar member monopoly on justice and real-time control of narrative. They can control the narrative in real time by them being the only ones allowed to bring smartphones and computers into a courtroom. That's not right. We are sovereign. They're not sovereign. We're the sovereign ones. They're British accredited registry. We are the sovereign people. We should have total transparency in what goes on in our courtrooms. with obvious exception to minors and sensitive cases like that. We the people are free in our churches, but not in our courts. Our systems have, this is the last one, our systems have used time, complexity, scale, diversion, coercion, deception, and lawfare to perpetuate known bad behaviors for too long. So this was just filed 2 days ago in the city of Virginia Beach, trying to do the right thing and get an election, an emergency election going for a sheriff, because the sheriff that's in there right now was not lawfully elected. And we the people deserve elections for our every elected position. Not doing so, not even offering an election when it legally is supposed to happen, that's election interference. We're talking about, RICO related stuff. That's all treasonous. So my battery's getting ready to die. I have one last thing to say, and that is, in my honest opinion, this is what our military has been looking for Get busy, Patriots, because this is the trigger.